Hi, I'm Kim Jensen from Door County Pantry, and today I'm going to be using Mary Pat Carlson's Wildwood Cherry Salsa. I'm going to combine it with some cream cheese, powdered sugar, and I'm going to use some great egg bread from Pink Bakery in Door County to stuff it with, and then we're going to grill it up and put a little bit of maple syrup on top. So what we're going to do is start out with our bread. You just cut off your end of your breads. You can always use that for some croutons. You're going to cut this loaf into 5 pieces. So you're just going to have to invite some people over. And then we're going to cut each piece down the middle halfway. Might be best to layer down, just like that. This is great salsa for just chips. People use it also over omelets. But I like to use her sauce with cream cheese and powdered sugar and put it in the middle of my French toast. But again, if you have people show up, grab your jar of cherry salsa and get going. Get some salsa chips out and you've got a party. It's not very spicy, so I like to pair it with a spicy salsa as well, so people can mix and match and mix their salsas together. I have 8 ounces here of powdered sugar, or I'm sorry, cream cheese, and then I have a 1/4 cup of powdered sugar. And we're just going to let that cream, and we'll get our jar open here. All natural, artisan canned product from Wildwood Orchard. She's located up in Ellison Bay. I think everybody has driven by her place. It's that beautiful old long white building. You come out of Sister Bay and over on the left, outside of Ellison Bay, you come out of the hill and on the left there she is. And she always has ducks out there. They're always frolicking in their pen. I'm going to use a 1/2 jar of cherry salsa. We're just going to let that whip up. Her daughter Anna and her husband Mark run the market with her up there in Ellison Bay. Whoop, my bowl wasn't in there very well. All right, I got everything combined here, so we're going to turn it up a little bit. Get that all mixed together. The salsa is a little tart, so that's why I like to use a little bit of powdered sugar. I don't like to go crazy on the sweetness though, because of course you're probably going to add your maple syrup onto that. What breakfast wouldn't be complete with some Door County maple syrup? The real stuff, of course. Ooh, it's looking good, guys. And we're going to stuff this in the middle of our French toast, and then we are going to dip it in our batter. The batter that I made today is 2 eggs with a 1/2 cup of milk, and I just whisk that up. Again, some people prefer to put a little bit of vanilla in there, but I think with this cream cheese it's plenty sweet, and once you add your maple syrup, you don't need that. If you were making plain French toast, for surely I would put vanilla in. It's one of my favorite ingredients. All right, that's looking good. Cherries in Door County. It's quite the buzz when people come up here. Where can I get cherries? Where can I pick cherries? Who's selling cherries? That is Door County. I think that's probably everybody's first memory when they get up here, especially if you come during Blossom Fest. That's usually sometime in July, although last winter it was a pretty cold winter, so it came a little bit late. So I'm just going to stuff my toast here. Again, you only cut it halfway because you want it to, you don't want it to split open down the middle. And the messier the better. So we got that. We got our first piece there. At Village Cafe, we make a stuffed French toast with apricot preserves. So if you're not into cherry, you could always use apricot, you could use orange, and you just use a little bit of, like I said, powdered sugar, cream cheese to bring it all together. If you have a little Italian in you, ricotta cheese would also work out just fine. I love ricotta. That's a good cheese. It's soft. You can use it in any type of stuffing as well. All right. 1 piece of this should be fine for your whole gathering or for your meal if you have 5 people coming. Again, add a little bit of fresh fruit. This piece is kind of coming apart here. But that's all right because it's going to be awesome once you have it all together. Once you're finished stuffing it, we're just going to go ahead and dip it in our French toast batter, and we'll grill it up. It'll be nice and golden brown. So let's get rid of some of these here. Pick up your crumbs as you go so you don't get any on the outside of your scrumptious French toast. So we're just going to go in here and let this absorb some of our French toast batter. Just like that. You don't want to over wet it because you want to make sure that the egg gets cooked. A lot of people make that mistake and they over soak it and then they never are able to get that going. This one's falling apart, so we're just going to use this last piece and we'll get these fried up and we'll come back and show you what they look like after they're done. So I'm here at the griddle and I'm going to put my French toast on it. We're going to use some pan spray to get my griddle prepared. You could also use a nice nonstick pan to do this. Probably fit 2 pieces on at a time. We're going to put this on our griddle. Ooh, you can hear it sizzling. I'm going to get those going, and then I'm going to show you how to use that cherry salsa to make a jam too. This piece is falling apart, but I bet you that's going to be the best one of the bunch. This is real cooking. None of that fancy kitchen stuff where everything's perfect, because we know nothing goes perfectly in the kitchen half the time. So we'll get those going. I have my griddle on at about 350. So we're going to let that get golden brown. If you ever have an uneven cooking apparatus in your house, which I'm sure some of us do, just go ahead and put your pan over it too, and that'll keep the heat in. And especially with a thick French toast, it'll get that middle nice and warm while the outsides are getting nice and crispy. So we'll go ahead and do that. Then we'll get this sauce going. So with the other part of your salsa jar, we used half of it in our inside of the French toast. We're going to get this nice and warm, and we're going to add syrup to it. Again, that way it's going to caramelize, because as I told you, this cherry salsa it's very good. Doesn't have any heat, but it doesn't have much sweetness either. There's a little bit of tartness to it. So I like to balance that out with a little bit of that maple syrup in there, and that just makes it a perfect blend of all spices. Another way to do your French toast is with our granola from Village Cafe, which we have in the line too. If you rotoku those up into fine pieces, when you dip it in your batter, you can roll it in the granola, and that adds another dimension. At my other restaurant, Village Cafe, we have an apricot French toast that I told you about earlier, but then we take that battered bread and then we roll it in our granola, and that's a big hit for us at our restaurant. So you can see this is coming to a boil. And once we reduce this, because there's going to be a little bit of water in this, then we're going to go ahead and add our syrup to it. And that's going to bring it together and give it more of a thick consistency. Mary Pat's cherry salsa has no tomatoes in it. It's 100% cherries. It has pepper in it and other spices. It's fantastic. Again, it's part of our all-natural line, and this is gluten-free. So the bread obviously is not gluten-free that I use, egg bread, but you could definitely go to a gluten-free baker and go ahead and get some gluten-free product there. I'm going to add my maple syrup. So it's a half of jar to about a half a cup of syrup. That's where I'm going to start it. And we're going to see where that flavor picks up. And you want to make sure you don't do this on too high, because you will burn the sugars. So we're just going to let it go ahead and reduce here slowly. Go ahead and take a peek at our French toast. It's smelling good. Ooh, it's looking good. It has about 2 minutes. We'll come back when this is ready to flip. All right, so I'm letting my cherries reduce. I added 2 cups of syrup to finish my product with 2 cups of the cherry salsa. These are ready to flip, so I'm going to go give them a little bit of spray here. And we're going to flip them over. Nice and golden brown. And just by covering them, it made that sauce inside start to get gooey and nice and warm. We won't need to cover it again because it did its trick. The middle is done. So you can see how this cherry sauce came together. Like I said, this still is not going to be the sweetest sauce that you're expecting because it is a tart cherry that we're working with. And I didn't over sweeten it with the syrup. And we're just going to finish it off with some nice powdered sugar as the finished product for your guests. I wish you were here to smell it. It smells good. I mean, it smells like salsa, but it's got some, like I said, some maple undertones going on there. So when you go to plate it up, we just cut her in half. Woo, look at that gooey stuff there. Like so. And we'll add our sauce. And I'm going to add just a little bit of powdered sugar. This is one of my favorite tools. It's just a little powdered sugar dispenser sifter. And there you go. We've got some stuffed French toast with Mary Pat Carlson's Wildflower Salsa.